of young people today is the response to the nuclear family in which they've been brought up in segregated suburbs that were utterly unreal and unrelated to the whole of life.
Keep it all together through the rain and stormy weather. Put things in order before we can go on.
They're searching for a real community again, where there are people of all ages and people of different kinds, and rich and poor and stupid and bright, all the things that make up a real community.
People in relation to revive a falling nation. It's the young who have the fire today to burn away what's wrong.
Society's most stable unit, the family, is entering an unprecedented period of change and transition. In industrialized countries, old-fashioned families with grandparents, grandchildren, and assorted relatives living together are disappearing. In their place, we have what is called the nuclear family. 2 adults and their 2 or 3 children, living isolated from relatives and friends, facing alone an alien and complex world. For this present-day nuclear family, the stresses are so severe that 1 in every 4 will break up. Sociologists believe new patterns must evolve. For the majority, more flexible social standards and greater personal freedom. For a minority, experimental family units and divergent lifestyles. The family of the future will require redefinition, according to anthropologist Dr. Margaret Mead.
Look, there isn't going to be one kind of family in the year 2000. We're moving towards a world with options. We're moving towards a world in which people can set up all kinds of families. Just because in the last 25 years, in the United States particularly, and to a great extent in Canada, we've all moved towards putting people in boxes, in little one-dimensional suburbs. And so every family looks alike, especially in advertising. What we can look forward to is a diversity of families. And some people who want to have a lot of children, hopefully they'll adopt most of them, and they'll have 2 of their own and adopt 10 if they want to. The ones they adopt will very likely belong to another race, so it's quite clear they're adopted and their parents wanted them, and they're not pretending they're there. We'll be able to determine sex, we're pretty sure, and that'll mean that every child that is born will know that its parents wanted it, a boy or a girl. And for the first time in history, girls won't be a byproduct of people trying to get boys, as they have been in the past. There won't be such a thing as the family. The family in general is a crazy piece of fiction and statistical abstraction.
This is one kind of family of the future. The Perth County Conspiracy is an extended family of about 50 people related to each other by their desire to live in community, with nature and with one another. They live in different houses. Some are married, some are not. Some grow their own vegetables, and all help to harvest them. Some live by small business enterprises, some by concert performances. They gather for work, sustenance, and sharing of pleasures, stockaded on a hostile frontier, as were their forefathers generations ago. This family is a spiritual conspiracy against an increasingly dehumanized society, and music is its propaganda arm.
It's in the air around your head. It whispers to you from near and far away. Today is the first day of spring. Today we have gathered here to sing.
It's very much like an extended family situation, that in many respects, the family is trust, and faith. And all that the Perth County conspiracy has done, or all these kind of living arrangements are doing, is allowing that faith and that trust in people to grow beyond what would traditionally be thought of as a nuclear or blood family. You can build up faith and trust in more and more and more people, and if you can extend that, then you can talk about like the family of man, like just everybody, you know. So that eventually it has to come down to that, and eventually, if it doesn't come down to that, then I see like a really very pessimistic kind of future. In fact, I don't see any. Given a technical society that I see is doing nothing more than alienating people from almost everything that they can sense or feel, that the family structure that I live in allows me to integrate my life with the environment around me, you know. I mean, I try to live an integrated life. I try to feel as though I'm integrated into the environment, and I see that the family structure, or I see the Perth County conspiracy, like really allowing that kind of insulation from the pressures that the technical world can create.
This moment is different than any before.
In the future, the meaning of family will go beyond blood ties to become a community of interest. Relaxed social attitudes will make marriage more popular, less permanent. Zero population growth and women's lib will radicalize motherhood. By 1990, there will be as many women on the labor market as men, and serial monogamy could become a mainstream pattern of the future.
Many people today act as if the family were going to be obliterated, was going to disappear. This is part of the general apocalyptic notion that everything is going to disappear. There seems to be very little chance that the family will disappear, that we will ever substitute a different form of bringing up children permanently for the individual pair of parents who are related to children that they have either born or adopted. But the family is still the way in which babies learn to be people and learn to be individuals, learn to accept other people that are just there. They didn't choose them. They're there and they have to learn to relate to them. And this is where people learn to be human.
The Sioux Indians have a blessing. With all beings and with all things we shall be as relatives.
I think that the residential commune, that is, people who agree to live together and share bringing up their children and share, in many cases, a lot of meals and share all sorts of responsibilities, but work in different places. I think this is what it shows promise for the future.
It is 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. This is not Joe's house. This is not his wife. These are not his children. Then why is he dressing and feeding them? Joe is a member of a communal family in which the men share chores with the women. Today, it's his turn. Urban residential communes like this will become numerous and create alternate patterns within which sex role and parental role rigidities will diminish.
Doesn't bother me. Only when they foul their pants, that's when it bothers me sometimes. You can get even used to that.
Some sociologists say communes are antithetical to the spirit of Western man. Some city planners say they are the hope for the future in crowded inner cities. For overburdened young families, they can provide blessed relief from financial worries, boredom, and spiritual isolation.
some more cereal.
You'll eat what you have there and finish it.
This
Then
is
Come on.
and then it gets some more.
In this urban commune, Joe and his wife live with a professor of philosophy and her writer husband. They share the cooking, shopping, cleaning, child rearing.
There's always got to be a mother, and there's always got to be a father. But maybe the nuclear family really isn't a good way to bring up children. You know, people have only been living in nuclear families for, what, maybe at most 100 years. Before that, it was an extended family where you had aunts and uncles and grandmothers and, you know, a very large group of people who shared that responsibility. Well, the commune is really no different than that. It's just that it isn't blood ties. But the point is that you do support one another, and you've got other people to turn to if you're in real trouble.
You know, I don't like doing the laundry, for example. I think it's a drag. Dishes don't bother me that much. You know, I don't mind dishes, and I positively enjoy cooking. I don't like making beds. But all those things could be classed as women's work. But some things that are classed as women's work, I don't in fact like doing. Other things I do.
But I enjoy cooking. Get the time to cook. Yeah, I don't see it as a problem. If other people do, it's their problem.
Of course, the common question I get a lot, too, is about, you know, polygamy. That just strikes me as being stupid. You know, if you love somebody, you want to sleep with them. I mean, we've certainly found that, you know, our own sexual relationship and everything has been much better since we've had other people around, that we don't feel all the immense burdens that we did before when we had to, you know, keep the whole place going and know that the kids were totally dependent on us. You know, we didn't have any time left or energy left to be able to explore the parts of our relationship that really mean a lot to us. And so I just can't see the polygamous thing being, you know, a problem. Maybe some group of people will get in the commune and decide that's the way they want to do it. That's fine with me. But, you know, we don't happen to have that problem. We love each other, in this case, Don and I in that way, and Fay and Joe in that way. But we also love each other, you know, crossways, too.
The commune may become more stable, less experimental, and for many provide the only family and community they know.
I mean, people have been experimenting with group marriage and polygamy and communes since the beginning of this country and long, long before. If you go back to the Cynics before Christianity, they were experimenting. Experimentation has been the essence of our whole civilization, way back to the Greeks. But we didn't have television, and small groups of people worked with very little publicity. Today, each experiment can be picked up, it can be given to a whole nation, it can go right around the world, so that everyone is exposed to everybody else's experiments, and they very rapidly become stereotyped, of course. Now, this will mean that many people can choose a single life, other people can choose companionship with members of the opposite sex or their own sex, or they can choose to live in a group, and that we won't organize the whole of society around couples the way it's organized at present.
Should we get up? Now we're allowed to get up finally?
I woke up my father.
You woke up your father?
I woke up my father.
All right.
I woke up my father.
Where's your bathtub anyway?
These three adults decided to try a different lifestyle. It's called a three-way marriage. The women run a leather boutique, the man teaches at a small Midwestern college.
The two kinds of questions that people tend to ask, one, of course, is about sex, and the other is about taxes. We don't go around saying, look, everybody, we're a three-way marriage. Look at us. We're not. We don't want to be sideshow free.
It's been this way for enough months so that I don't feel strange. Yet it's a very kind of sensitive thing. If I just sit down and say, well, I share this man and I make love to Janice and we have lovers and the kids know it, and if I just sit down and list all these things to people, wow, they wouldn't be able to come near me because I'll seem so strange, you know? But I've touched people, and there have been times when I haven't felt alone.
A more three-way, four-way, five-way type marriage is a very viable working situation. It's in a social political sense, in terms of cutting down the population. You have 5 adults for 2 children. for instance. Each one having a sense of contributing to a family without overpopulating. You have a sense of economic conservatism. You're utilizing facilities. Like one house can house many more people than it ordinarily does.
You want toast, Nicole?
I have no feelings that monogamy is at a lower level than the way I live. I'm willing to accept the fact that people still will enjoy a good monogamous relationship. But I would also like people to be willing to accept that I can enjoy my lifestyle.
It is estimated that more than 30,000 people live in polygamous families in North America. This three-way marriage grew out of reaction against the loneliness and isolation of two nuclear families.
The desire on the part of myself and Anne, who was my wife, and Jan and her husband to try an extended family arrangement, living together, the four of us. The four-way relationship didn't work out. The three of us found ourselves very compatible, and we pretty much stuck with it.
Well, I think it's improved my relationship with Sheree tremendously. I love Janice too, and so it's given me much more than I had before.
It's not a relationship where just both Ann and I are sharing Sheree, because both Ann and I love each other. So it's a really, truly three-way relationship. And I have found it's just much more of the kind of life I've always wanted to lead, where it's loving more people.
I think all three of us have found that while sometimes giving ourselves this the kind of increased freedom that we have to relate to anybody that we want in any way that we want is kind of scary at times, yet the satisfactions that have come from it in terms of getting to know people and
getting to know yourself,
and it's even carried over into other areas of life. Like in terms of my work, I've decided that I no longer want to be the kind of person that acts one way at work and the other way at home. That I want to be real all day long, and this probably means changing my job, changing the way I come on with people outside the house, and this kind of thing. But all of it seems much more rewarding and satisfying than the kind of life that I was leading before.
Okay, off we go.
Bye.
Bye.
Are you taking a picture of that?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Picture of a contented man.
There isn't any reason why we have to force people into one pattern. So I don't think you can talk about what the family is going to look like. We're going to have all kinds of families, hopefully. Many, many kinds, and great variety. We have to prepare for the future. We have to prepare people that can live under a great many different forms and still keep their integrity.
Together through the rain and stormy weather, I put things in order before we can go on.
The majority of the 21st century men and women may know deeper, more fulfilling interpersonal relationships, more honesty with their children, more tolerance of their brothers. The family of the future must become the great shock absorber of the techno-industrial world to come. Carl Sandburg wrote, "In the times to come, as in the past, there will be generations taking hold, as though loneliness and the genius of change has always dwelt in the hearts of pioneers." To the question, what will the story be of the family of man across the near and far future? Some would reply, for the answers read if you can, the strange and baffling eyes of youth.
'Cause what's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine, and together